Morning News. I'm Joe Collins, and it's finally here. It's a rematch of the national championship from 5 years ago as the LSU Tigers take on the Clemson Tigers. Sports 2's Michael Cobble and Hunter McCann are in Clemson right now, and guys, every LSU fan remembers the night that the last time these two played.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Joe. It's hard to forget one of the best teams in college football. Greetings and welcome to Clemson, South Carolina. We're set up just outside the stadium where there's a fantastic tailgate scene already going on. Obviously 11 a.m. right here. We're not kicking this thing off for another 8 hours, but pretty impressive. They are definitely coming out for this one, Hunter.
Yeah, there's a lot of fans out here. We've seen a lot of orange and purple, less purple and gold so far, but we expect those Tiger fans that were probably staying in Greenville last night where the team was staying to kind of trickle in here and really take over South Carolina this morning.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to take over. This is a true home-and-home series with LSU and Clemson. Clemson will return the favorite to the real Death Valley in a couple of years, but, you know, today is all about this matchup, and for LSU, it's all about the improvements from one year to the next. And Coach Brian Kelly and his coaching staff really hit the transfer portal hard for moments just like this, so they would be ready for the big game.
I think it's an evolution, right? Each year you're developing depth, you're developing a DNA within your team where you know much more about them in terms of what to expect. But I think at the end of the day, this is about depth and probably the most depth in the roster. Now, we still got to go out and play and perform at the highest level, but I would just say what's different is it's a mature group that has played a lot of football, and we're not going into a game where we can't handle the moment.
Yeah, and Hunter, I don't know that you could say that is the case for years past where the roster was a little uneven, certainly on the defensive side. We're going to take a look at some of the LSU offenses they prepare for this because really that's probably the matchup that we're going to be talking about most today, LSU's offense against Clemson's defense. But Coach Kelly just talked about it. It's about the depth and really the talent that they have on this team. One big question mark is the offensive line. We'll talk about that in a moment, but really one of the biggest things that I think this talented depth gives LSU is a shot of confidence, especially defensively. Quarterback Garrett Nussmeier talked about this week the confidence that his team takes into this game.
I think one of the coolest things you've seen, and Coach Kelly mentioned in his press conference the other day, is the confidence that we have. You know, we are walking around with the confidence, and I think it's because of the work that we've put in. You know, I think it's a true and it's a real confidence. You know, we really have worked so much harder, I feel like, and not just saying we're working harder, but doing the correct things that lead us to being able to go 1-0. And, you know, as you said, just walking around seeing the 1-0 things around the building, and I think it's just constantly engraved in our brains right now that we have full confidence that we're going to go out there and handle business.
I don't know about that. I'm glad they have the confidence. Everybody wants them to snap that losing skid 5 straight now. You know, it's going to be a tough ask here today, Hunter.
Yeah, it's a huge ask, but they've really put all their eggs in one basket. Like you talked about, seeing that 1-0 all around the football ops in the locker room, like this feels like a make or break situation for this team when it comes to confidence. Like if they could win this game, it'll propel them into the season, and it's a really tough situation to come into a top 10 matchup right out of the gate with a lot of new faces on both sides of the ball.
All right, I just want to pump the brakes right now before we get any further into this. It is not a make or break game in reality for LSU. It is going to be a challenging game. I expect them to actually lose a close game, but again, that Florida game, probably more important than this one here today. So that one's in 3 weeks. They got to get it done.
Especially because it's an SEC matchup.
Yeah, and really, I think that one sets the tone for the rest of your season. But this one's a great challenge, as we talked about, in part because of Clemson, right? They are veteran across the board, offensively, defensively, but especially on offense, where their quarterback, Cade Klubnik, returns for his 3rd season. We love that Nussmeier's back for just his 2nd season. Well, he's back for his 3rd, and he too is a Heisman hopeful. They have a fantastic offensive line and a struggling run game. They've been kind of limited in stopping the run, and they haven't been great in the run game, but Klubnik gives them that extra advantage that LSU really doesn't have at the quarterback position.
He's, I would say, central to their run game. And look, I mean, you can go back to last year's Texas A&M game. We didn't handle ourselves very well, or the Alabama game, whoever you want to point out. South Carolina, I could keep going. I'd like to stop right there. We didn't do a very good job against the running quarterback. So it's important that we contain him within the run game. Look, he's going to do things outside the realm. That's what he does. He's really good at that. We got to keep him in the pocket. and make him operate from the pocket. But their run game is certainly part of what they do, but they've got a lot of things from an offensive standpoint that you have to defend, and there's only a few things you can do. You want to play fast, you want to play physical, you want to make sure that you don't give up the big shots. They like to get big shots down the field. And then you've got to stop the quarterback from really hurting you run the ball. That's kind of central to what we're looking at.
I mean, Brian Kelly said it right there, and we all watched it last year. LSU couldn't stop a running quarterback. It was their kryptonite in all three of their losses, and an easy recipe for success for the opposing team. I think Clemson's going to try to do that today.
Absolutely, and I think LSU wants to make Cade Klubnik beat them with his arm. They have to be able to stop the QB run, and then you talk about the run game in general. They have Adam Randall as running back this year for the Clemson Tigers. He's converted wide receiver, and Dabo Swinney, the head coach for Clemson, has made it known that it's basically going to be running back by committee. But Randall will lead the charge, that converted wide receiver, and the LSU Tigers have to be able to step up this season and shut down that run game.
So it begs the question, how much better is this LSU defense? They went into the portal hard. They got a lot of pieces really at the front of the defense and the back of the defense, but especially at the back of the defense. That's where the biggest difference is. And unfortunately, in this game, A.J. Halsey will in fact be suspended for the first half of this ball game. LSU's transfer safety. He was a difference maker back there. Even still, LSU, I think, is improved with him off the field.
How do you measure confidence? It's just the way they handle themselves, the way they play. They believe in themselves. There's a trust factor that they're going to go make a play. I think it starts with confidence. Confidence comes from playing the game, right? A lot of those guys that are back there now have played a lot of football. They're experienced players. And when you bring that experience forward, things like confidence come out, high competitive drive.
You love to hear that, right? Certainly LSU didn't look like they played with a lot of confidence on defense last year. And how could they? They were giving up, big plays over their head and big plays in the run game. And we talked about Halsey and his absence. Deshaun Spears probably going to get the start here. We'll find out in the pregame. It's going to be a long pregame. Yeah. We know this one doesn't kick till what, 6:52, I think you told me?
6:52 is the exact time we'll kick off here tonight on WBRZ. But Brian Kelly talked about earlier the depth on this team and how he feels like this team's different because of the depth. And losing Halsey is a big blow in the first half. But if the depth is really there, the Tigers should be able to pick up that slack until he's able to step in the game in the second half.
The big difference, again, across the board, I think it's a more experienced team, a veteran team, and as Coach Kelly said, they play with a lot of confidence, especially on defense.
They make plays in practice, and they're not doing the sword thing and, all that stuff. They're like, next play. Bring on the next play. And to me, those little nuances show I'm confident. It's kind of like the old adage, you hear it all the time. You get in the end zone, give the ball to the official that you expect to be there again instead of 18 different dances. Now, I'm not against any of that stuff. I don't want to sound like the old guy here that doesn't like excitement. But you asked a question, and I'm answering it based upon what I see. And what I see is when a guy does that and he hands it to the official, he truly believes he's coming back in the end zone.
You hope LSU is doing a lot of this, whether it's swords or seatbelts, and you hope they are handing the ball back because they're scoring a lot of touchdowns. It is a beautiful day for football, fantastic weather, and I know you guys are looking for great weather as well back in Baton Rouge. Let's head back to Baton Rouge and check in with the newest meteorologist in the WBRZ house. Dave, how's it going this morning?
Oh, it's going great, fellas. I'm glad you got great weather out there. And in fact, later on, as the game kicks off tonight, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the upper 70s later this evening. Not really any chances for rain out there. I think you're going to see fair skies, and it should be very comfortable for you guys as well as the fans that are going to be out there, and the players too. Halftime dropping it back down into the 70s, and maybe a little bit cooler there toward the end of the game with fair skies and some light breezes out there too. So no big weather impacts when it comes to football. Of course, my friends over in Acadiana, our Raging Cajuns, are going to be over in Houston at Rice, and we're going to give you that southern forecast, not to be outdone here in a little bit. Check out some of our temperatures. We're running in the 70s to near 80 now, farther out toward the west. We've got fair skies with some cloud cover out there. Earlier, we had quite a bit of fog out there, but for today, we're still going to see at least a few isolated showers and thunder showers out here. Most of those are going to be over the southern sections, and then as we progress progress through the remainder of the holiday weekend, I do believe some drier air is going to slide in. High pressure is going to rebuild a little bit, and that should help to suppress some of the chances for rain as we go into Labor Day. Now, there's another front that might be coming in here on Tuesday, and more push of a dry air starting to come in a little bit later on, and that could make for some comfortable temperatures as we head into the early next week. So really for your Labor Day weekend, we'll tease this. We're going to be dodging a few showers and perhaps a thunderstorm today, and then things are going to get a lot drier later this upcoming weekend. So really we're going to be seeing those temperatures getting back to around 90, and again more widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially closer to the coast. We'll give you all the details on that and talk about some serious dry and cool weather that could be impacting our region coming up in about a week from today. I'll have that in your forecast in just a little bit. Joe?
Thanks, Dave. And Saturday tailgate segments are back starting next week with LSU and Southern's home opener. Now, as you can see, we have a new name for this year. Sorry about that. It's called Tailgate on 2. Get it? Like a play call, and also we're Channel 2. You get it. The name may be changed, but the game stays the same. We want to hear the story of your tailgate and what makes it so special. Last year, we ended with a wedding at one of the tailgates. That's right, a wedding. So I can't wait to hear more of your stories. Email me at jcollins@wbrz.com with where you'll be set up and what game you'll be at. I'll come by and show your tailgate to both Tiger and Jaguar Nation. Coming up, we're heading back over to Clemson to hear more from sports about the LSU offense. Don't go away.
Louisiana has big weather, and that can mean big damage to your roof. Call us for a free roof inspection to be sure. If we find damage, we'll even help you file it with your insurance. Protect your home with Rice and Roofing.
Just to be on the safe side.
Seriously injured in a car wreck? Neck and back pain, stiffness, and limited movement? I'm attorney Peyton Murphy. Put my over 32 years of experience to work for you. Get immediate help. I am Louisiana's neck and back injury lawyer.
Supreme savings are at Supreme Chevy. Colorado has the Supreme discount of $5,000. The 2026 Traverse and Trax are in stock now, and pre-owned vehicles are priced under $25K at Supreme Chevy in Gonzales.
My hopes about my chaplaincy is that I really gonna be a person whom officer gonna trust to. It's where ministry of Dr. Stanley is very important to me personally. He's a mentor for me, how to bring the message across and how to bring the essence of good news to people who need it.
From one small store in 1960 to serving over 1 million customers a week across the Gulf Coast.
Big Labor Day savings at Rouse's. 10-pound bag of chicken leg quarters, just 58 cents a pound. St. Louis style or medium pork ribs, only $1.97 a pound. Stock up on 24-pack 12-ounce Pepsi or Coke at $9.97 and save up to $5.02. And 24-pack Miller Lite, Coors Light, Bud Light, or Yingling, only $24.49. That's the lowest price allowed by law.
65 years and we're just getting started.
Louisiana has big weather, and that can mean big damage to your roof. Call us for a free roof inspection to be sure. If we find damage, we'll even help you file it with your insurance. Protect your home with Rice and Roofing.
Just to be on the safe side.
From the official news station of LSU Athletics, this is WBRZ Morning News at 10.
Indeed it is. Welcome back to beautiful Clemson, South Carolina. You could not ask for a better day to start the college football season. You couldn't ask for really a better matchup. Some fantastic football going on around the country in this LSU-Clemson game right there at the top of the list. It's going to be a great one with Ohio State and Texas, of course, Alabama, FSU, some of those games. But this one really has a chance for two college football playoff contenders to play in this game. One of the biggest question marks going into this season was until earlier this week, right, was the LSU offensive line and how would they respond with so many new pieces. Basically, your entire offensive line is rebuilt. You didn't get a real ton of confidence when Brian Kelly came out earlier this week and said they're expecting to play multiple offensive linemen, rotate as many as 8 in one game.
I don't know that you always need a static 22. You don't want everybody in a position where you're rotating every single player, but there'll be a couple of positions where we'll have some rotation, and I think it will be good for us. I think it makes us better. And so, we look at, different battles, right? We're going to play a number of defensive ends and defensive tackles, it's because we'll be better because of it. I think the same thing would be true on the offensive line. You're going to see more than just 5 guys out there. You'll see, at least 6 or 7, could be as many as 8 offensive linemen playing for us. Oh yeah. It's okay to rotate offensive linemen in. They can do that too.
Nope. Don't like it. Never heard of it. Can't stand it. Not sure about it. All my life, we've been told that offensive linemen need time to gel. Hunter, you're a former offensive lineman. I mean, that's contrary to everything we've ever heard.
No, and it's very difficult to mesh on an offensive line with new people around you. And it may not seem as difficult from afar. It is very hard to get in a rhythm and know exactly the tendencies of the guys around you to be able to move your offense down the field. But Clemson's in the same boat, Michael. They talked about this week. Dabo Swinney said they may rotate in 6 or 7 offensive linemen, so they're trying the same formula as Brian Kelly. But there is one good thing to look at here on the offensive line. It's the experience right there at center, holding down the fort, and Braylon Moore coming over from Virginia Tech.
In this environment at Clemson, he's been through it. He opened up against Clemson last year as the starting center at Virginia Tech. He knows what it's like to play against Woods. He's got that experience. So when you go on the road and you play in an environment like that, you want to bring in veteran guys that, bring that composure and leadership and experience, right? Experience is the greatest teacher. So that means a lot, clearly, that, he'll have a great influence on the offensive line.
And Hunter, he's had that influence from day one of fall camp. He's been like the sure thing along that offensive front, and they're going to need it. One thing I'll say is that they struggled early against LSU's pass rush, but they were pretty good in the run game. That was what was surprising. LSU was bad run blocking last year. This year, they were actually better in fall camp. I hope that translates into the game because they're going to need it. LSU's run game was really gone away from last year when they needed it the most, and they asked Garrett to do too much. But this year, hopefully, Caden Durham is healthy. Dale Jackson has that staying power. He certainly has that burst and that pop. He just needs maybe a little bit of space. And the freshman Harlan Berry has been involved in a lot of packages. So it's going to be, interesting to see how they use this run game. But one thing's for sure, Garrett Nussmeier needs to orchestrate the entire offense a little bit more. He needs to be the one commanding the huddle, and he's done a good job with that, but he needs to make sure that the run game is involved as well as the pass game. Obviously it's Garrett's second year back with Tiger offensive coordinator Joe Sloan, and we're hoping to see those leaps and bounds that we saw in previous quarterbacks, i.e. Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels, when they make that leap from year 1 to year 2, working in the same system. He's a proven veteran leader. He knows what he has to fix, and he's been working on it all offseason.
One thing I've always loved about Coach Sloan is he's super invested in making sure the quarterback is good with what we're doing. Even from when I had no say, when I was just my first game starting, he still, if I didn't like something, he was throwing it out. And if I wanted something, he was calling it. And so I think that's what makes Coach Sloan so special is he understands how important it is to make sure the quarterback's comfortable with the play. And so, I think almost he knows what I'm thinking before I even say it. There are times where I know what he's about to call, and there are times I think that he knows what I want him to call, And so having that relationship is special and something I look forward to.
Certainly, they do have a fantastic relationship. If you've been to an LSU practice, you know how hard Joe Sloan coaches Garrett Nussmeier, but Garrett is obviously the son of Doug Nussmeier, the Saints offensive coordinator, so he's used to hard coaching.
No, he expects the most out of Nussmeier, and, so does the Tiger faithful. Jumping into year 2, there's a lot on his shoulders. He's got the second best odds, I should say, of winning the Heisman Trophy right behind Arch Manning and tied with Cade Klubnik, who will be on the field for Clemson tonight. So there's a lot of expectations going on onto his shoulders for this first game. But Brian Kelly talked about earlier in the preseason about that it's okay to have a zero type of play.
Yeah, definitely wants to, basically limit his mistakes is what he's saying in that one. And as, to your point, to whom much is given, much is expected. That's kind of what Garrett Nussmeier is operating with. They have fantastic receivers. As many as 8 could really make an impact in the game. We just talked about the run game, but the tight end position is really, I think, where LSU has an embarrassment of riches. They got transfer Bauer Sharp in from Oklahoma. They have Trey-Dez Green. Trey-Dez Green was unstoppable.
A monster.
In fall camp. He is an absolute game changer, everybody. And to have both of them on the field at one time in what is called 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, that is a absolute difference maker for LSU when they're going up against these opposing defenses.
You want to get your best players on the field, and we could probably put 5 receivers on the field and not have a running back back there and say that those are your 5 best, right? But that's not really the way the game's played. You have to be tactical in what you do and matching up against what defenses do. So, yeah, 12 makes sense for us. Will we feature it from a percentage standpoint 80% of the time? Probably not, but I think it's going to have a good mix in what we do because it's smart to put Trades Green and Bauer Sharp on the field.
It is smart, and it is absolutely a plus for LSU. We saw a lot of 12 personnel, even some 13 personnel. You heard Hunter say it a little bit ago. He's always trying to sneak in the odds. When we come back, we're doing some best bets, first edition of the year, live from right here in Clemson, South Carolina.
We're challenging the standard of what comes standard. With the next generation GMC Terrain Elevation. What we choose to challenge, we challenge completely. Get this low mileage lease on this Terrain Elevation for around $299 per month. See your Bayou GMC dealer.
Hi, I'm Jacob with Arrow Pest Control.
Pests can be a nightmare. Protect Grandma with Arrow's $20 initial pest control special and our eco-friendly termite control starting at just $349. Call Arrow Pest Control to schedule your free consultation today.
Okay, seriously, for the folks at home.
Which one is Dudley and which one is DeBosier?
Okay, you're Dudley and you're DeBosier.
Dudley, DeBosier.
Interesting.
I'm going with DeBosier, Dudley. I don't know, it's both of you, Dudley, DeBosier.
Exactly, we're a team.
I'm Chad.
And I'm Steve. And if you've been injured,
Demand Dudley, DeBosier. 444-4444.
come on, for real now. You're Dudley.
At Toyota's National Sales Event, we've got a long lineup of vehicles for summer fun. Like Camry, RAV4, Grand Highlander, BC4X, Tundra, Corolla Hybrid, Tacoma, Sienna, Corolla Hatchback, Sequoia, Prius, RAV4 Hybrid, Land Cruiser, GR Supra, Toyota Crown,
During the national sales event, qualified lessees can lease a new 2025 Tacoma SR5 for $259 a month for 36 months. Offer ends September 2nd.
Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Call me Peyton Murphy. I am Louisiana's knee injury lawyer.
Now, this week's Best Bets with Hunter McCann.
Oh yeah, baby.
The best music on a Saturday, baby. Let's go. Way to get your day going. Who needs Corso and headgear? We got Hunter with Best Bets, making you money on a Saturday morning.
Absolutely. We're boots on the ground here in Clemson, South Carolina. So we're going to start with the biggest game on WBRZ. 6:30 kickoff tonight between the two Tigers and Clemson. 3.5-point favorites in this one with the over-under set at 57.5 points. Both these teams have reinforcements coming in from the transfer portal on their defense. Clemson trying to do better at stopping the run. LSU trying to do better at stopping the run. The line in this game, I believe, is inflated on the over-under because of that poor defense last year. I think 57.5 is a lot of points. LSU notoriously starts slow in these opening games, while Clemson has struggled in 6 out of their last 7 games to put up points against SEC opponents. I love, Michael, the under 57.5 points in this game. I think it ends somewhere in the high 40s to low 50s. So give me the Tigers of LSU and the Clemson Tigers to go under 57.5 points.
Yeah, I like you. I'm there with you on the under as well. Last year, I think the score is going to be similar to last year's USC game where it was 27-20. I think LSU or Clemson could be on that either end of that one, but a low score. I agree. What's next?
Up next, I had 11 o'clock on WBRZ. Kickoff between Tennessee and Syracuse. Tennessee, 13.5-point favorites in this one with the over-under set at 50.5 points. The Volunteers are 3-0 against the spread in their last 3 openers. And under Josh Heupel, they are 4-0 against the spread against ACC opponents. App State's Joey Aguilar will be in at QB this year, and he brings a lot of experience with him coming over from App State. And I think that experience will translate to a lot of points This game is on a neutral site in Atlanta, but I expect about 80% of the crowd to be the Volunteers. I'm going to go with this large spread and take Tennessee to cover 13.5 points against Syracuse in their opener.
Yeah, I like that one as well. This is going to be a boring segment if I'm just going to agree with you the whole time, but who is Syracuse? Just a terrible team. I think Tennessee, trying to prove something with their new quarterback, probably goes big. Let's bring on the next game, Alabama and Florida State. What do you like there? Let me guess. You like the Tide?
I may like the Tide in this one. And honestly, it's mostly because of Florida State, not because of the Tide. The Tide have a lot of question marks in this one. They are 13.5-point favorites, and the over-under in this one is also 50.5 points. But these are two programs on completely opposite side of the college football tier list. Florida State having to figure it out and rebuild after last year's terrible season, while Alabama in second year under Kalen DeBoer is trying to figure it out, but they do have Ty Simpson at quarterback. It'll be his first time starting today in a hostile environment like Florida State, but he's been waiting his turn. He's been there for the past 3 years, sitting behind quarterbacks, waiting his turn. I think he's going to be ready to go to make a big statement. And in Florida State, Michael, 1-8 in their last 9 August games when covering the spread. I think the Tide.
What was the one game?
I don't know what the one game. I don't know. I know it was not the LSU game.
All right, good.
No, but they were 1-8 in those last August games against the spread. I'm rolling with the big one here again. The Tide to cover 13.5 points today. 2:30 kickoff on WBRZ.
Yeah, I think Ty Simpson trying to prove a point. That makes a lot of sense. I like that one. I actually like the over in that one too. You said 50.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Alabama may get there on their own. All right, what's our final game?
Final game. Texas, Ohio State. Biggest matchup today, not of the two Tigers here in South Carolina. And this is a game where the line has jumped back and forth past 48 hours. But currently, Ohio State favored by 1.5 points. The over-under in this one, 47.5 points. Both these defense are bringing back stars. And now Texas, last year, with those stars, limited wide receiver Jeremiah Smith for Ohio State. He only had 1 catch for 3 yards in that matchup last year in the playoffs. Julian Sayin will get his first start for Ohio State. And then on the other side of the ball, Arch Manning, who we talked about last segment, the Heisman favorite right now leading into the season, will get his very first opening start of the year. And I expect this Texas team to start a little bit slow on offense to kind of feel him in there. What that means, the clock will be running, points to be a little bit limited. And guess what? The under is hit in 3 straight meetings between these two programs. I'm going to go under 47.5 points for this one, Michael.
All right, can't wait to see it. Can't wait for the Arch Manning train to finally leave the station so we can find out whether this kid is actually one of the best college football players in the country or if he's just hype.
Quick recap for you. Take the under 57.5 points between the two pairs of Tigers here in South Carolina tonight on WBRZ. Take Tennessee and Alabama to cover 2 touchdown spreads, minus 13.5. And let's throw another under in there. Take Texas and Ohio State under 47.5 points.
All right, those are your best bets for week 1 from the man himself, Hunter McCann. When we come back, we're heading back to Baton Rouge, but fear not, football fans. We'll be back to close out the show here live from Clemson, South Carolina in a little bit.
Jerry Lane Buick GMC is the #1 Buick GMC dealer in the state, district, and Baton Rouge. We offer great prices on our huge inventory of new Buicks and GMCs.
It was easy and no pressure buying my GMC truck from Jerry Lane.
Jerry Lane Buick GMC guarantees free oil changes for as long as you own the vehicle.
Jerry Lane Buick GMC has over 500